I am Marwan Cameron, and this is the Conduit. All right, y'all, it is July. It is almost the end of the month. It's 69 degrees in Kitsap County. As you can see, I've got a guest with me, and we're going to get into it here in a minute, but I know that I have not been on a podcast for an entire week. Unlike me, when I go, and usually I'm live almost daily, well, at least like 3 times a week, right? So we're going to go ahead and get into it here in just a minute. We want to let people get in because they obviously didn't know that we were going live. So that's important. Let me make sure that my feed is good here on YouTube. If you get a chance, do subscribe, like, and share. You know that you can reach us at 373-3000. Follow us on YouTube at Marwan Cameron, The Conduit. You can follow us on Facebook at Gather Together, Grow Together, and my homepage. All right. So I hope everyone is doing well. As you know, I was in Virginia last week. My little cousin just graduated from high school. She's going to an HBCU, so I had to go down there and celebrate with her. If you saw one of those things, you saw her driving the drop top. She was having a good time down there, having a lot of fun. So congratulations to you, Skylar Cameron, on your way to Morgan State. She will be going up to the dorms on August 14th. So definitely excited about that. And also my nephew is also going to Morgan State. So shout out to Malik, which is awesome. But yeah, I got to tell you, man, I've been tired. I got back, had this jet lag, trying to get everything going. Lots of craziness going on in the world, of course, but there's a lot of craziness going on here locally also. And so we've got to have a conversation. Where are my glasses at? I look so weird. I'm like, man, I'm like, why do I look so strange? Like I don't have my glasses on. So I can't read anything without my glasses. And clearly I can't see my glasses without having my glasses on. So I guess that's the thing. Right in front of them. Where they're at, so I mean, it is what it is. What am I gonna do, right? So yeah, let's go ahead and wait for a few folks to come in, and then we'll go ahead and get to it. But we got to have a real conversation today. I've been in quite a few meetings trying to deal with some pretty serious issues in regards to housing here in Kitsap County, and things are developing quickly. As you know, just as a little backstory, as COVID hit, the Kitsap Rescue Mission was relocated out to the fairgrounds, right? And as you know, COVID is kind of a little bit under control, although we see that the numbers are rising again. People want to open back up. And so the fairgrounds wants to, reclaim their space and open it up and kind of get things going again, which means that those that were in the rescue mission need to now be displaced and be relocated somewhere else. And so what they did was, the building that they had downtown was no longer viable. So they purchased a building out in Port Orchard. And so the building isn't ready yet. It's probably going to take about a year to have that building ready. Maybe it might be ready by December at the quickest, but it could be a little bit longer than that otherwise. And so where are these residents going to go? Okay. And so what has happened is they have decided to the county to put folks over at the Midway Inn. And so that is causing definitely some issues with the residents that are currently there. And I have a guest with me today that's going to talk about that because she is a current resident at the Midway Inn. And so, this podcast is called The Conduit, and it's the Conduit for a reason, right? This podcast does not exist just to talk to high-level people in the community, but it's actually to talk to the community, right? And give voice to those that don't typically have a voice. And that's what that's about, and I stand by that. I take that very seriously. And so that's what we're doing, right? And so it's very important to go ahead and have this conversation and allow these stories to get out and to be told. So we're going to go ahead and get into it here in just a second. How you doing, Bridgett? Let's just do a little check there. Good. If you wanted to set yourself up, you could do that.
Oh, it's fine.
And then we will go. All right. Looks like our audio.
We got some ringers.
Want to make sure our audio was good.
Good.
Normally I've got someone who checks to make sure that I'm live and everything is good. But right now they're working concessions at the soccer game. So,
and I'll be working there very soon, and I'm going to be working with getting some meals out to some of the community members as well. So,
see, I like that.
I'm an active community habilitator. So.
Yep. You have a conversation with someone and, you find out what they're about. And if you can, you give them a G and they're part of it. You know what I'm saying? So she definitely embodies the spirit of G2 and our mission of self-sufficiency for all Kitsap County residents and beyond. That is our vision. That is our mission. That is what we strive to do. We try to do it in as unique ways as possible, right? We are not a big albatross of an organization. We're small, so we could do kind of little small, unique things to try to help people in the community. So that's what that is. And so I'm definitely excited that, Bridgett is going to join us and be a part of that mission. But we do want to get in and talk about the issue and the story. So Bridgett, I'm just going to ask you to introduce yourself. Just tell us a little bit of, background about you personally, and then I'll just kind of guide you through the question. So
absolutely, 100%. I'm a single mother. I have lived in Kitsap community before. I have spent about 3.5 years prior to. Me and my son have just recently moved back to Kitsap County on May 5th. I'm not looking for a handout or a hand up. I did used to work for Habitat for Humanity, which is their slogan, not a handout, a hand up. I believe anybody that is looking for assistance, who is willing to do the groundwork, is definitely in need of support from the community. I, since have been moved back here, have found a lack thereof support from the community.
To the fairgrounds, right?
I'm not sure about who is speaking of into the fairgrounds. No, I have paid out of pocket with my own money, with my unemployment, to get funds to support myself, because the last thing that I want to do is be homeless. So number one, I think taking my own money, my own funds, I'm paying for mine. I don't want nobody to pay for my way. Number one. Okay. I am a 40-year-old woman. I have a 15-year-old son. What I want to do is have the means to support my own son without the need of the community. Now, I'm living in the hotel, which they are now kicking everyone out unless they are on some other form of 360 or whatever other resources that are already implemented.
Well, let me go ahead and pull up the letter. How long have you been staying at the Midway?
I've been at Midway Inn since May 5th. I've been paying out of pocket $469 a week with my own money, with no city or state funded resources. Okay. Just let's put that out there. I don't get child support for my child. I'm not asking for any other funding for anybody else, from anybody else. I'm just letting you know that this letterhead was put on my door on the 23rd. When the night manager, Jeremiah, told my son 4.5 days prior to not even tell me that they were going to be implementing this. Okay. Now, when Miss Jackson came to this meeting today, she was as well overfounded and she had no idea that this was going to be happening. So
let me jump in there really quick. Yeah. So, in full disclosure, there was a meeting that took place on either Thursday or Friday of this week. And I was in attendance at that meeting. It actually took place in our building down at G2. And the executive director of the Kitsap Rescue Mission was there. A representative from KCR was there. A representative from the Midway Hotel was there. The Kitsap Sun was there. Hope 360 was there. There were some pastors that were there. Um, and so there were a lot of folks that were in the room to have a conversation and try to figure out what was going on. And what Bridgett is saying is when we came in to talk with the residents today at 2 p.m., what was shared with us was a letter that was put on their doors. And Kimmy Sibbins, she actually put this on Facebook before, right? She put it on yesterday when she got it. And so I just want to read it so everyone is just kind of with us. Dear, and it says eviction notice. Dear Midway Inn guest, this letter is intended to give eviction notice to all guests at the Midway Inn. Kitsap County and the Mission will be leasing the property to shelter the homeless at the end of this month. All guests must check out by July 30, 2021 because of this reason. If you are part of KCR or Hope 360, ERAP, or the KEPA program, you will be given options by a KCR representative for alternative housing and must decide by August 15. One option is to be absorbed into the Kitsap Rescue Mission itself and their program, which would allow you to stay at the hotel. Please wait patiently as we are trying to get this information to you as soon as possible. We understand that this may cause a lot of stress to some of our guests. We hope you understand this project is intended to help and better the community. Your cooperation will be greatly appreciated and will help the transition run smoothly. If you have any questions or concerns, please talk to the front desk or leave a message via a letter or email, and the manager will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you again for being a valued guest, the Midway Inn. Now we're going to read, there were a lot of comments from this letter, and so we're going to jump in there, but she got this letter on her door.
I have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions and a lot of statements based on the fact that when this was on the 23rd, the night manager, Jeremiah, in fact, did tell my 15-year-old son 4 days ahead of time not to tell anyone, i.e. me, his mother, or anyone, any information about that. Being with that said, it's a very toxic situation. It's like they knew this was going to happen, and they're, in fact, not informing the residents of, and they did not care, in fact, thereof, what was going to be happening or transpiring. Okay. Now, I have been paying out of pocket since May 5th. Okay. I'm not asking for anybody to pay me forward, pay me to support me or my child. I'm not getting any kind of supplemental finances, nothing like that. My point is just being, and not just me, I've been staying there for a long time, and there are multiple residences in this unit that also have other situations circumstantial. Like there's people in there that have pets, for instance. When they came into the meeting today, nobody has any answers or questions regarding to pets. Okay. So, for instance, I have a really good friend of mine that has been staying there for a long time. She has 2 large dogs, and she does not. They're not service animals. Those have not been taken into consideration. I have a cat, personally. I'm not necessarily in this program in particular, but my finances that I've been paying for it have been pocketed in by one of the night managers. There's a lot of circumstantial evidence, like situations that are really not being regarded. And I think by being any kind of a taxpayer or anybody who actually cares for the situation of their community, one of the letterheads, when he said, is like, this is to help the community. So for me, it's really hard for me to fathom that they're going to take, and I'm not discriminating on anybody who is already homeless, but it makes no sense to me for people who have no home, that have been in long-term residence there, to otherwise not have a place to live. Okay. I'm not homeless and I don't intend to be. That's why I've been taking all of my TANF, my unemployment, and paying for my my ability to pay for my home. So, I mean, I think there's multiple levels.
So what's interesting, Bridgett, is you've been there since May, right?
I've been there since May 5th.
And there have been people that have lived there 10 years.
5 to 10, right? Whatever years. Yes.
I had no idea that's I mean, they've been in their home longer than I've been in my home. Yeah, like that's their home. That's not a temporary housing situation, right? That's permanent housing for them.
I mean, for somebody who has no home to be paying out of their pocket or paying for with their Social Security, or whether it's like thumb over now, you know what I mean? Like, however you're gonna pay for your house, you've been paying for it regardless. And I understand subsidized homing and stuff like that. I'm not eligible. I've been on Section 8 housing wait list, all that. Like, it just, you can't take people that are homeless and put them in a homeless shelter and then take people that are doing their best to provide their housing and then kick them out on the street. I find that to be a revolving door, and I do not find that to be helping the community.
Well, let's continue to, put people to what is happening. Can you talk a little bit about the lady that has the two dogs? We won't say any names.
So, for instance, I have a lady, and I'm obviously not going to call names. Mm-hmm. She does have an anxiety problem. Obviously, I'm not going to call names. But they were in the meeting today telling her that the people from the shelter that's trying to move into this hotel, that there's no guarantee that they will cover any people with pets because it's not in their insurance covering. Okay. This woman in particular is, regardless of a friend of mine or not, she has 2 large dogs. She is herself single. She does have a 2-bed room, but that they're going to implement people without a child or husband otherwise to be implemented with a roommate. And I just do not understand how that would happen. And otherwise that they would have to be service animals. Now, this woman does have anxiety. She had an anxiety attack when I was sitting downstairs with her during this meeting. She broke down into tears. I've only met her since I've been here since May 5th, but she has a job. She pays her rent here. She's on the waiting list for assistance, and they're telling her that she may well not have a place to stay based on the legitimacy of not being able to have pets because the people that are going to take this over doesn't have insurance for having pets in this housing.
And I can tell you, it was really hard to watch today.
I had to get up and walk out of the unit. I couldn't even do it. And I have a cat that I've been paying room service for, not room service, but I've been paying my my pet deposits for, and it's been being pocketed. So it is very hard. This woman she has a job. She's a single woman with 2 pets. Those pets are the only people that are getting her up out every day. She has extreme anxiety. It's just not fair.
So can you go in and tell us what basically were they saying is your choice, right? So the letter says you can be absorbed into the rescue mission. So what does that mean?
What they're telling us, period, is that this is basically going to be a homeless shelter. They did not ever disclose any of the rules or regulations, but at the bare minimum said that it would be a 10 p.m. curfew unless you otherwise have some type of work. You will not. I don't smoke cigarettes personally, but say you do have a pet or you do smoke cigarettes, that you're not going to be allowed out of your unit to smoke a cigarette or walk your pets, even if you're allowed to have them. I mean, that's very conflictuous. Number one, I don't even think that's legal. Number one, I would have to really double check my standards and knowledge of legalities. But number one, I do not think that that's even legal to tell people. They're telling people that are homeless that they cannot have their pets, unless they're a service pet. Number one. Number two, you're not allowed to leave this residence. Number one, as far as I know, there are no convicted felons. There are, even if they were allowed to have pets, so you're telling me I can't let my pets out at any given time between the hours of 10 and 6 a.m. or whatever. And they have not even delegated these times that are going to be or not be facilitatable. And with that being said, and I'm so sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I've stayed here for a minute. There are people that are in here on this 360 program that I can guarantee that have definitely sold drugs, bought drugs, and are currently doing so.
So one of the other things that they were saying is basically you would be absorbed into the shelter.
Yes.
You would be provided 3 meals a day.
3 meals a day, that you're not allowed to cook your own meals. You're not allowed to have your own food. You're not allowed to do any of your own resources. Yes.
So they're supposed to be taking that back to their board and seeing, and this is the rescue mission, right? So
yes,
the residents pose some of their issues and questions, and so the executive director of the rescue mission said that she would take that information back and their questions and concerns and ask what can be done about that for folks. And so basically what they were told was, from my understanding, they'll get 3 meals a day.
I don't want 3 meals a day.
They won't have to pay any rent, but they have to fall under the Kitsap Rescue Mission policies and procedures, right? So they would be absorbed into the homeless shelter, even though these people are not homeless.
I'm not homeless. I'm only homeless if somebody puts me out of this hotel. I have my own crock pot. I have my own stove top thing. I am more than willing to cook, and I have my own means of food. I get my own food stamps. I do not need 3 meals a day. I'm not asking for the state or the city to provide those things, nor I don't have no dietary needs as far as what I need, but it's just I don't find that it's legal or.
But there were some that did, right? There was a gentleman that had some cultural reasons on the food that.
Yes, we're going to call him Chief. His name is Chief, and he does have some dietary needs. And they're also going to tell him that he's just going to be allotted to the 3 meals that are provided for him. I'm part Cherokee. He's Blackfoot. And he is part of a tribe. He is a tribe member. His name is Chief. I'm not going to dictate any more names or energy or whatever to it. But you cannot tell people what, when, and how they should eat.
Well, and that was definitely a challenge for quite a few of the residents.
Many.
And so there's a few different things here, right? There is, hey, I want to be able to prepare my own food if I want to, and I want to eat what I want to eat, right? That choice is being taken away from you.
Yes.
I'm not homeless, so I don't want to. I'm free, right? I'm not a criminal, so I want to eat what I want to eat when I want to eat it. I don't want to eat your food, right? Yeah. So that's one piece of it. The second piece of it is that you have a lot of people that are there that have dietary supplemental issues, right? So whether it's sodium or whatever the case may be for their health, right? And then you have the cultural piece, as we were talking about with Chief. So, you've got 3 things that are going on there. And so what was said was The executive director of the rescue mission is going to take that back to her board and see what can be done about that. But that was a big issue for folks. And I think what we're looking at here, and we can look at the studies on homelessness and what helps to get people to transition from homelessness into stable housing. And the concern is the residents that are here, many of them don't want to be absorbed into the shelter and be forced into shelter life.
Shelter. Can I interrupt?
Yeah, go ahead.
They're not absorbing anybody into another program. They said if you do not want to stay here, then your only other option is they will give you 1 month into either, I think it was Motel 6 and
maybe the Quality Inn.
The Quality Inn for a term of 1 month. Okay. Now let me point this out to you. It's about $179 or such per night. Okay. So they will absolve 1 month if you do not adhere to their standards of you stay here, you have a 10 o'clock curfew, you only get 1, 2, 3 meals a day, you do what they say. I personally have stayed at the hotel. I've already had my laundry stolen. I've had my underwear stolen. Okay. I'm a single woman. And that's within this hotel. Now you want to bring in, and I'm not judging homeless people. I'm just saying, so they want to tell everybody that if you stay here, everybody's going to have chores to do. I don't need nobody to do my chores, and I don't need anyone to do my laundry. I've already had people steal my laundry out of here with just the maid service that is done. Okay. My underwear. Okay. I'm 40 years old. I don't need no nasty whoever taking my underwear. So do you think that it's very okay to have anyone just do my laundry and they can touch and take and do whatever they want with my laundry? Like, that's ridiculous, number one. And not to mention the monetary amount of funding that the lady that owns this hotel is going to be getting to be housing the other people that are going to be coming in. Okay? I don't need nobody to do my laundry. I have been here since May 5th. I do my own laundry. I get a vacuum cleaner from downstairs. I vacuum my own floor. I use my own cleaning products to clean my own room. They're talking about taking anybody who has a single bed and putting other people in a single bed. So, no, I in fact do not. I think this is an invasion of privacy. I just don't understand it. So
as you can see, there's a lot of frustration. There's a lot of anxiety. And because this was done at the 11th hour, this is how you catch people, right? They feel literally like they're being put out in the street in a week if they make a choice. And they feel like they're really not being given a choice. Some of the folks that are there. Now, to be fair, some people will absorb into the shelter and it's going to work out just fine for them. But that's not going to work out for everyone. No. And so for me, I think what would have been more of a solution would have been to reach out to the residents of Midway and have a conversation with them. Like right now, it's up in the air. As Bridgett mentioned, right? She has a 15-year-old son. So they have a television in the room. They have a PlayStation in the room, right? So
I have everything in my room, and he has pictures of. I have my own TV. We have our own bedding, very nice bedding, not that like janky hotel bedding stuff. I gave that all back to them. I have my own very nice quality bedding. I have my own TV. I have my own TV stand. I have everything that I need. I have my own food. I have food stamps. I am able to cook my own food. So to be told that I can only get 3 meals a day, whatever they're going to give me, I'm not a criminal. You're going to sit there and give me like I'm in jail or a halfway house? I am not a drug addict. I could take a piss test right now. I could take a UA, guaranteed. I can guarantee half of the people, maybe not half, but at least a quarter of the people that are here, that I can guarantee are selling drugs out of this hotel. I'm not going to drop names on here. I'm just letting you know that I can guarantee you people, room numbers, and names that are selling drugs, using drugs in this hotel that are not doing what they're supposed to do on their own part. So now me and my son are supposed to be getting put out because of some janky people that just are living off the system. What about the people that are really doing their part to just get a job? I can't get a job because I don't have a place to stay. I'm getting put out on the street and nobody will hire me because I don't have a valid place to live. I don't have a valid source of income because I don't have a job, because I can't get a job because I don't have a place to stay. I mean, this is detrimental. I'm not trying to help people that are homeless, that are junkies, that don't want to have a place of their own. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not knocking nobody for their whatever they have going. But you know what? If you wanted a real life, if you wanted a real place to stay, then maybe you wouldn't do drugs. Maybe you wouldn't sell drugs. Maybe you would get off your butt and go get a job. But everybody in this town seems to live off the system. You either have to have a mental problem, emotional, physical disability, or otherwise. I'm 40 years old. I can build a house. I can tear it down. I can work on your car. I can do any damn thing. I have more than experience than half the people that are sitting in this dang room not doing anything. And I'm getting put out on the street with my 15-year-old son. My 15-year-old son wants to have a summer job, but I can't trust anybody to let my son come mow their grass. I can't just let my son go around everybody's houses and be like, hey, do you need help with this? Hey, do you need help with this? Number one, not about COVID. Number one, me and my son both have both of our COVID shots. Number one, I never thought I would ever get COVID shots, but we did it just for GP, just so that we could have the ability to. And now we are getting shunned just because somebody that was already in a program before us already is in a program before us. I don't want a program. I want my own house. I want my own car. I want my own job. Sorry, I'm not trying to rant, but that's what it is.
And I think that's important. You hear politicians say all the time, right, that people need to have their dignity. And the way that people have their dignity is they need to work, right? That's a Republican talking point, right? And so and I've heard Biden say this too. And so if that is a true statement, then how would we not support that, right? And kind of go backwards on that. I want to share some of the comments from that post, right? So, Kimmy Sibbins posted this. Let me go ahead and enlarge it. I'm going to read this, and I don't think Bridgett has seen this, so I'll have her react to this in real time.
No, I'll react to it right now.
And this was, again, someone posted, or Kimmy actually posted the letter, the eviction letter, right?
I actually was the first person that gave all y'all this letter. So
got you. And I think so, because she was saying,
did give y'all the letter.
She was saying something in here. So Tirza Marie says, if someone is paying, how can they evict people? And who the F is fighting to stay in the Midway anyways? The place isn't exactly the Ritz. Mm-hmm. Now, to that end, you're listening to someone who's saying, well, this is my home. So, I don't have much of another option. I've been here for about 6 months. And as we know, there have been people who have been there for years. And I mean, 4, 5, 10 years, which I had no idea that people were here to that, that length of time in a motel. And so what Kimmy says is, Tirza, it's the reality. The Hunger Games of housing is going to start becoming more well known to many of us who never had to worry before. Now, this is facts. I've been saying this on this podcast for the last several months, right? You're going to have the end of the moratorium on evictions. You have people that have bad credit, bad rental history, no job, and we have housing cost here, rental cost that is astronomical. As you can see, it's $2,100 a month to stay in the Midway Inn, right? That's more than most people's rent in a 3 or 4 bedroom house. That's a mortgage.
I just want to know who pays more than $2,100 a month. Whoever's commenting, whoever, Tina, whoever, I'm not asking you how much your rent is. Tell me how much I don't even need to know how much you pay. I'm paying what I can pay a month. It costs first, last, security deposit, plus a pet deposit. So let's get real here, okay? I'm a single mother with a 15-year-old kid and a kitten, okay? Let's just cut that crap out right there, okay? You might be husband, wife, whatever, no pets, no nothing. But don't sit there and, just cut into what the hell is happening in my life. It's easy to look into somebody else's life when you're not living in it.
Well, I think she's on your side because she's saying, how can someone paying, which you are a paying customer, how can they be evicted?
I'm not actually, because it's a rent memorandum in a hotel. And that's what the state of Washington is saying, which I don't think is fair. But it's like a single mother with a child. Like, I don't have a boyfriend. I don't have a husband. This is just me, myself, and I. I'm not asking for anybody to subsidize my finances. It's just a matter of fact. It's just a matter of fact. When you need the first, last, and deposit and a pet deposit, I'm not getting rid of my kid. I'm not getting rid of my cat. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. You get rid of your kid. You get rid of your husband. You get rid of somebody, a roommate or something. I'm just saying. And I've heard a lot of people personally say, well, get a roommate. Personally, on Facebook, and you can look me up. I'm on Bremerton Network group. Okay. Do you want to live with your husband or your kid or your pet or anybody with a stranger you don't know? Anybody?
Well, I think it's also difficult to do when you think of just what Bridgett was saying, right? First, last, and deposit. So the average rent in here is about $1,450 a month for a 1 or 2 bedroom, right?
Not even.
Not even. I think it's for a 1 bedroom, right?
So a studio is like $1,200.
So first and last would be $2,400, and typically the deposit might actually be the exact same amount. So you're talking you need someone to come up with about $3,600 plus the ability to move, which costs money.
And right? You need like 2 to 3 times your income.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. And so what Kimmy was saying is absolutely
I get what
facts.
You're saying,
it's going to be the Hunger Games, right?
Yeah, well, Hunger Games gets people killed and stuff, and that's not what we're looking like, right? Like Hunger Games was a terrible movie. Number one, let's go put that out there. Hunger Game was when people was getting murdered for stuff. So with that being said, Hunger Games, honey, I'm not thirsty or hungry. I'm just trying to take care of my kids. So number one, it's just, you shouldn't be hungry or thirsty. You should be able to take care of yourself and your children without being thirsty.
And so she's saying eyes will be open. People may start listening to what we have been saying is going on and happening for years. And while I hope, Kimmy, that happens, it's at this point, it's too late, right? And if you do, if you do become homeless, we have a man currently running for Bremerton City Council who would like to increase enforcement on the homeless. Good times, not. So
cute. That's real cute. When you're probably like posting this from a household that you already have stable, you and your husband or some otherwise is you're already taken care of. You're not in that situation, so I don't really think it's cute for you to be telling other people what they may or may not should be doing.
well, this person is on your side.
I'm just saying though, I
Right.
mean, it's hypothetical, but it's not really like beneficial. Like, I mean, somebody might vote for us. Yeah, okay. Trump, who?
So someone is also asking here, what happened to the Port Orchard location?
I'll tell you what happened to the Port Orchard location. That Port Orchard location just got me and my son kicked out of the hotel that I'm currently living in.
So what Kimmy responded was, Miss Potter, it's still in the works. However, the owner of UKO Karate across the street is building a coalition of people to fight against the shelter and the homeless. He is preaching isolation techniques to cure the homeless of their evils. I have been hosting peaceful demonstrations across the street from his location. If more people came, we would have a louder voice. So,
hey, do you got a place for me and my son to live? Because you don't. Peaceful protestation does not make no difference to the people who are currently living in the situation. Just saying, I appreciate your protestation, but you're currently not like, and listen, I said 100%, I do not want a handout. I'll build you a house. If I had the means and the land, I'd build my own house. I wouldn't be asking for help. I just need a place for me and my son. I'm 40 years old. I'm willing to do everything I can. If I had a lot of land, I'd build my own dang house. But it's nice when everybody has something to say, but without nothing to really give. Like, you can tell me you can do this, you can do that, talk about this. I used to work for Habitat for Humanity. Habitat for Humanity's housing is closed. And I'm not sure how many of you guys know what the Habitat for Humanity housing goes, like what you have to do to get on there. But either way, it's closed. Okay. So it's easy to tell people what they should do or what they could do, but it really doesn't help or affect the people that are actually living in the situation. They're taking a hotel where people are able to pay for their own room and kick those people out to put homeless people in. So you see how that is a revolving door? Do you understand how when you take people who are able to pay what little they can to have a room, you kick them out to give homeless people a room, you're just putting more people to be homeless.
you know, and so Shauna agrees just with what you're saying right there.
Yeah.
She says, okay, I'm not going to swear, but
I'm not swearing either.
if you're living there because it's the only place you can afford,
That is the only place I can afford.
and now you're going to be homeless, so it can be given to a homeless person of which you are now one, asking for a highly effing pissed off person, myself, in the realm of Little Bo Peep meets aliens. Does this make any sense?
Well,
I'm so tired of this political bullshit.
Well, honey, then you might want to get off this feed, dude, because also you have your own place to live, and you might want to get on to some other. Bye. Yeah, because really what you're doing is just you're spinning your wheels when people are actually sitting here trying to do what they can do. Where do you live, honey? Do you have a house? Do you have an apartment? Do you have a husband that helps you pay for it? Do you have 2-job income? I'm just saying, I'm telling you as a single mother who has no child support, who's not asking for any support from any other resources. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're kind of like coming at me in the wrong way. What you're doing right now is just being shady. I don't want no handout. I don't want nobody to pay for my bills. I don't want nobody to pay for my housing. But what you're doing right now is just being shady.
So I think what you're hearing is
I'm
definitely
not hearing
the raw emotion, right? And
no, they're just people having their own damn opinions who don't know nothing about nothing.
I mean, they're actually on your side.
I don't know. Whatever she said.
Yeah. No, she's on your side.
No.
She was on your side.
No,
But
she wasn't.
let me read it again.
No. Honey. Honestly, I don't care. If you're not helping, you're hindering. Okay? And it's just not me. It's not just me. I'm advocating. I'm sitting here advocating for other people, and I'm talking about 36 other people. Okay? So you can feel however you want to feel about me. I'm a single mom with a 15-year-old kid. I'm advocating for my friend who's not going to be named, who has 2 dogs, who is also going to be being put out of this because they're not service dogs, okay? So maybe you need to listen. There are people that are here that do not have anybody else to speak for them. My friend, not to be named, with the 2 dogs. They're telling her that there is no guarantee that she's going to be able to stay here because she has dogs. With this new memorandum, they're telling them at this point, nobody is going to be allowed to have pets here. Okay? Take me out of the equation. If you don't like me so much, that's fine. What about her? She has 2 pets. She has 2 large dogs that are very beautiful, large dogs. They're very quiet. You couldn't even tell that they have a dog. But you're basically telling me just like whatever. Like, no. Take me out of the situation. She has 2 pets. They're telling her that she's not going to be able to stay here because of her having animals. They're going to say, this is not going to be a place where people have pets. Now say something.
So a friend of yours.
My friend?
No, I'm just reading the comments on here. So there's a friend of yours that says, I have a friend who is living there with her son, and she's been looking for an apartment for months. She just got this letter yesterday, and I believe the homeless problem is real and more needs to be done. But now she and her son will be homeless.
Maybe that is my friend. Shoot. I don't know.
Janice?
Nope. I don't know her. But there are. You know what? There's a lot of people here that a lot of people don't know about. You know what I mean? I just found out today that the money that I have been paying for my cat has been being pocketed by Jeremiah, who's the night manager, who has been doing heroin and buying drugs from somebody in this facility who is on one of the programs, and that's A-okay.
You know, it's here.
It is here. And you know what? That's fine. But for somebody to be renting a space in a hotel that is selling all this stuff, really? Like, do you think that's okay? Do you think that's okay to be a resident of this hotel and you're using drugs, you're selling drugs, you're on the 360 program? That's okay? You're probably buying from him then. Paul Teese? Yeah. Okay. So you're probably one of his customers.
So as you can see, there are some real issues and concerns. We have a homeless crisis in this nation. We are the richest nation on the planet, and it's unacceptable. This should not be happening, and yet it is. And we don't want to see our homeless. And so we've trying to push them out of downtown as we try to revitalize downtown. They don't want them in Port Orchard, right? And so now what's happening is, you know, typically it kind of works the other way, right? As people have this downward kind of push as things go bad, right? The people that are well-to-do have to downsize, put things into storage. Folks below that end up moving in with their parents or with friends or doing some other things. People below that start couch surfing or living in their car. Other people like that end up on the streets. But this is actually kind of the reverse, where you have the homeless displacing people that are actually paying rent. I can't, if I wasn't there myself, I just wouldn't believe it, right? The truth is stranger than fiction. And again, as Kimmy was saying earlier, this is only going to get worse, right? There is a huge hidden homeless population here in this county, right? And, I work with this population. And as I said before, I didn't know that folks were staying at the Midway for as long as they had been staying for years, right? That I had no idea. And on Thursdays, G2 provides, meals to the residents at the Midway. And even through providing that service, just wasn't aware of it. Something has got to happen. And unfortunately, in this world, many people do not have any empathy or sympathy until it actually affects them. But this is going to get worse, right? This is going to get worse. These are people's lives. People want to keep their freedom. People want to keep their autonomy. They just want to live, right? And so I am solution oriented. And in that, my question is this. There's tissue up there. What is the solution? What could have been done here? And what could have been done is having a conversation with the actual residents, right? I talked on one of the podcasts before of you're in this position of trying to help people and run your organization. And in that means that you have to make decisions. But we need to make decisions. When we're making decisions about other people's lives, they need to be at the table, right? We talk about equity. We talk about inclusion. Well, these things are not happening. Not when you are given this eviction letter 7 days before you need to be out. And you don't allow those residents to have their humanity, their dignity, to even weigh in on the impact and what it takes for them to continue to live and for them to be healthy, right? So what happens? How many of these folks could end up having mental health issues or drug issues or alcohol issues that didn't have them before because of the situation that they're being pushed into now? Just things to consider. Things to consider.
Yeah, you people don't really understand. Like, I have done every single thing. I have done my unemployment. I've been searching for jobs. Do you know how hard it is to get a job when you don't have a stable living environment? Do you understand about that? No, of course not. Because a lot of you people want to just judge people like, oh, you're not trying. You're not doing this. And you know what? You're right. In a certain sense. Like, some people aren't trying. Some people aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. I can guarantee you, I am on Alaska unemployment. My unemployment is getting garbage because they overpaid me. They still won't tell me how they overpaid me. They're taking money out of what they've overpaid me. Okay? I'm not going to sit here and whoever posts on Facebook or whatever, y'all need to get your facts right. Ask the right questions. Okay? I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Right? I am doing everything that's required of me. So don't sit there and be too justified to understand what you think it's all, well, if you were doing this and you were doing that. Okay, well, if you were minding your own business, this really wouldn't be part of your thing, right? Okay? I am personally doing mine. I don't have any mental issues because KMH has that, right? I don't have any unresolved court issues. I'm not a felon. I do not have any of those problems. So what about a single mother who does not have any mental, felonious, none of that? Then what about her? Y'all don't care about nothing, right? Y'all just here to point fingers. Well, you shouldn't have done this, and you should have. Yeah, you should have minded your own business. Because obviously, if you don't have nothing positive to say, you're not really helping the situation. Okay? I was sitting here in the office today with this gentleman. Nothing came out of it positive. I'm promising you this. You either have to have a mental or drug addiction problem for any of this to go anywhere. So what about the people that do not have mental or drug issues? What about those people that are just single parents that are taking care of their kids that are not getting any resources? Y'all gonna sit there and talk shit? Pardon my language. Really? Y'all got something to say about everything.
You know, what's powerful about what you're saying, Bridgett, is just that, right? Homeless get a really bad rap, right?
People that are facing. I'm not homeless.
I know you're not. I know you're not.
I'm not homeless until I get put out of this hotel.
I know you. Let me finish my statement. Homeless people that are facing homelessness or in homelessness get a bad rap, right? They're drug users.
I don't do drugs.
They're alcoholics.
I'm not an alcoholic.
They're lazy.
I'm not lazy.
Right? They have mental health issues.
I got no mental health issues.
Right? They have criminal records. Just as she was saying, right? She doesn't have any of these things.
None of those things. And I'm getting put out.
So when is this you?
It's going to be some of y'all sooner or later. When
is this a friend, a family member that, again, hasn't done anything wrong, has done everything right,
it's gonna happen
but still finds themselves in this situation?
Yep. It's going to happen to one of y'all sooner or later, and then you're going to bite your tongue about all this negative crap y'all are saying, because it's not about, I have applied to jobs. Can't get a job if you don't have a place. Can't have a place if you can't have a job. Do you understand? It's like a vicious cycle. So some of y'all might be married, some of y'all might be military, some of y'all might be whatever, but you can't have a job to get a house. You can't have a house if you don't have a job. You can't have this to get to that. So no, I'm not asking for anybody's help on anything. Nothing. I'm more than capable. I'm more than capable of most of y'all. Not pointing fingers. It's just, you know what? When we had that meeting today and this gentleman was here, he's the most reasonable person that anything to say. And everybody has their own opinions. I get that. But you know what? I have my opinions entitled too. And some of y'all just don't have nothing nice to say, and your parents didn't teach you right. So if you ain't got nothing nice to say, cállate la boca. Okay? Simon.
Bridgett, I'm going to give you the last word. What do you want people to take away from this conversation? What do you want them to know?
You know what? Here's the thing. Y'all are all, not all y'all, some of y'all are so quick to judge everybody. Maybe because you've never had to be in that situation. Maybe your husband or wife or whoever never put you in that situation. Maybe something never, ever, ever happened to your fairy tale life. But you know what? Something did happen to me. Something did happen to the people who stay at this hotel. It's not for anybody else to judge. You don't know whether it was mental, physical, emotional, whatever. But you really do need to take a step back and not judge everybody so much just because you think your life is so damn golden. Just take a step back, take a breath, and be like, you know what? That could be me. That could be my kid. That could be my grandson. That could be. It's not that easy. You never know when it's going to happen to you. And it doesn't matter whether it's drug, alcohol, whatever. None of those things are my problem. I'm here trying to advocate for people of any type of certain situations. And God bless. Hope it doesn't ever happen to none of y'all.
I'm going to keep you updated as to what's happening to the residents of the Midway Inn. I'll come on as much as possible and let you know what's happening. At this point, I have no words, just anger,
very sad
and frustration.
I'm sad. I'm angry. I'm frustrated because there's people that always want to point fingers, and nobody is just like understanding and be like, yeah, God bless.
So for now, I'm going to leave it there. Bridgett, would you come back on and give an update as to what's happening?
Absolutely.
Letting people know what's going on. There are, I know, a number of residents there that...
I'm an advocate for multiple units of that apartment complex, or what used to be. I will 100% come and speak for them because there's more than enough people that need to be heard.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that is the word. I'm going to leave it there. I'm R1 Cameron. This is the Conduit. We've got to do better. We got to be better.
Do better, be better.
We can be better.
We always can.
Reach out. Help support. It sounds so cliche to say be the change you want to be.
Do what you do.
Be the change you want to be. Until next time.